I say help of max, it tells me there is a built-in function called max that will return the maximum value in a collection of things. Okay? So I can say max of 235 minus 77, 0, 44, 8. And it does the right thing. Here's a good rule of thumb. If your instinct tells you somebody's done this before, somebody probably has. You are not the first programmers. Okay? I honestly believe the reason some people go off and invent programming languages is they want to be first. You know, it's like the Guinness Book of World Records phenomenon. Yes, somebody else was the first man to climb Mount Everest. I will be the first to do it barefoot. Oh. Barefoot and blindfolded. Without oxygen. Backwards. Really? Right? No. If you've seen a facility in whatever language you're already sort of familiar with, it probably exists in every other language you will bump into. The same ideas come up over and over and over again, and people just implement them. If max exists, it shouldn't be any surprise to you that min does as well. Okay? So please, every line of code that you don't write is a line you don't have to debug or test. So if you've seen it in MATLAB, go and find it in Python. If you've seen it in Java, go and find it in IDL. If you've seen it in whatever, it almost certainly exists in that other language. And again, the problem we have that we're still wrestling with is the problem everybody has in the age of the internet, and that's findability. You might guess that a function to find the maximum is called max. What's a good name for a function to find square roots? Help SQRT. Now, no such function, not built in.
In MATLAB, I guess.
Aha. In Python, if I import the math library, this is how you load a library, and then say help math.square root, there it is. So it's there, but it was one step away. How many people would have thought, geez, I have to go and get a math library to get a square root function? No, of course, a sensible language would build it in. Right? They didn't for historical reasons. Back in the early days, they wanted Python to run on very, very, very small devices. So almost everything that requires more code is in a library to import. Small language, lots of libraries, as opposed to build everything in the way MATLAB does. Okay? Again, it's an engineering trade-off. Neither's better than the other. But what it means is, if you go and say, where's the square root function? Python says, I don't have one. You go, what? No, it does. It's in a math library, along with all the trigonometric functions and log and all of those things. But you need to know where to go and start looking for it. And unfortunately, there is nothing in the built-in Python help that does what Google does. It doesn't do a Google and say, well, there isn't something built into the language. Let me go and start looking through the libraries in order of decreasing probability to find something that might be there. I really, if I want a programming language where I can do that, and it'll come back and say, okay, I found 3 libraries that talk about square roots. Here they are. And now I've got my starting points. Okay? When you build your code, if you want it to be really useful to other people, not all of you do, but if you're building a package that you want other people to adopt, think about this problem. Okay? I have seen people build libraries in which the same function, the same code, is exposed under 3 or 4 different names. They might have a function called squirt. They might also call it square root. They might also call it root. It's the same piece of code. It's just got multiple names. Why? Because they want everybody to be able to find it first time. What name are you going to go look for it under? All right. Okay. What is a function to find the inverse tangent called? Is it atan, A-T-A-N, or is it arctan, A-R-C-T-A-N? Well, toss a coin. Could be either. Different people. Engineers will look for it under one name. Physicists will look for it under another. Sociologists will ask you, do you want fries with that? So, sorry. When you are writing code, make the pieces findable. Okay? And again, do the same test you would do with your user interface. Give your office mates cookies at coffee break. I've just written code that does this. What do you think it's called? And they'll go, I don't know. No, come on, guess. What do you think it's called? And if they all guess that it's going to be called this, and you named it that, you're wrong. Right? Everybody okay so far? So, let's have a look at a few other things that lists can do. Help list. Oh, lots of things with underscores around the names. We will ignore those until Thursday. Okay. What can lists do? Well, we've already seen append. Add an object to the end of the list. Grow the list's length by 1. Okay. Count. Count how many times that appears in the list. How many zeros do you have? Right? If I've got a list of values and I say L.count of 0, it says you've got 5 zeros. Okay. Index. What's the first index at which this value is found? Look for 55. Okay, tell me, is 55 in location 177? Look for the string Mary. Where is the string Mary in this list? Okay. We can insert values. We can